Well, when I was a little kid, like for Halloween, I would dress up like Ace Frehley from Kiss because, you get to wear a wig and makeup and platform shoes, but you're still Kiss. It's cool. So people say pot is a gateway drug, and I say Kiss is gateway drag. And then I got a little older, and we started going to Rocky Horror, and my stepmother was like, "Oh my God, you're wearing makeup?"
I was always turned on by the things that I thought were kind of queer but very unusual. Of course, I was also turned on to horror films, punk rock, things that were different anyway. When I came out of the closet and I was around gay culture, I still felt alien to gay culture that I saw. I tried going to circuit parties, I tried going to bars, and I tried connecting with what I thought you were supposed to like as a gay person, and it didn't really resonate with me, except things that were outside of the box.
I grew up in Cameroon, and that I didn't even know what drag was. I saw people like Diana Ross on television. I saw people like Grace Jones. I saw these women who were just so larger than life, and that was my closest form of drag, if you want to call it. But there wasn't a drag culture, and there isn't a drag culture.
What is there in me when I saw the movie Bye Bye Birdie in 1962 that made me, the next day at school, want to act like Anne Margaret and do the dance that she does, da-da-da-da-da-da, and I did it over and over and over again? What was there about inside of me that made me want to do that when the other kids who were at the same screening the day before, it didn't get to them that way? I have no idea. I felt like I had to keep mine secret sometimes. I was confused. I didn't know when it was okay and when it wasn't. For instance, I can remember lip syncing to a record of a woman's voice, and my whole family would gather around and they would applaud me. So then I felt, oh, well, it's okay. Then another time, after seeing Gypsy with Natalie Wood, and I started acting like Gypsy and Natalie Wood, and I was spanked for it. So it was dangerous then. I never knew when it was okay and when it wasn't.
I embrace the phrase drag queen. I know people in the business who prefer gender illusionist or female impersonator and all that crap. I like drag queen because the word queen immediately lets people know that underneath all this is a gay man.
I think I had to create the own self-confidence in just who I was before I could go out and start assuming a different persona. If you can walk in the heels and you can pull it off, you can command. You can really, really command and get people's attention. It's something to hide behind, in a sense. It is, because once I put the makeup and the hair and the costume on, in my mind, I'm looking as pretty as Melanie Griffith in her heyday.
As kind of an outsider in traditional teenage life, adolescent life, outsiders are powerless. You're at the bottom of the heap. And especially if you're fat and queer and or femme, and that's the person everybody can shit on. So that's a very powerless place to be from, and you end up feeling very powerless at the kind of at the bottom of the heap, and that over time brings anger. Once you turn around, all of a sudden you put on some drag, everyone turns their head, you're the center of attention, the power dynamic has changed. You're now controlling the room, everyone's looking at you, everyone's feeding off of your energy.
It's kind of my layer between me and the world, and I think it offers me the freedom to kind of do things that I would never do as Joshua.
You have to have a really strong sensibility of being comfortable with yourself to be able to put that on and just put it out there. I mean, it's one thing to dress up in the comfort of your own home and, sing in the mirror in the bathroom, but it's another thing to go out into public dressed like that. And the shock factor, it's like a drug, that attention that you get when you are dressed up and when you're performing, because people do take notice and people do think of you as this bigger than life star.
It was a way of getting past a kind of repression that I felt. I just needed to shock people. I needed to express myself in an unusual way, and I needed to sort of free something inside of me.
So I want to do all these different looks. And I love Hag Drag more than anything. I love people coming to a show and expecting glamour and getting like, you know, a Christian woman from 1987.
Drag is not always about who is going to be the most beautiful and most realistic. Every night when I go out there performing, it's like I always develop a certain character, and I develop a different character every night. You know, whatever I'm inspired by in my daily life or my daily routine, I would develop this character and I would put that on stage.
I didn't want to alter the man. I didn't want to create an illusion. Mine was about putting a wig on, and I guess more performance art in a sense that I'm cinematically inspired by people like, you know, a Melanie Griffith part or a Jamie Lee Curtis part or some type of, oh, I'm a victim. So taking that part and then just putting a 6-foot-tall hairy guy in that part, a little blush, mascara, and then, you know, bulge, wear the tits. And I think that's funny. Everybody pretty much likes that, and if they want to date that, that's a whole other story, which, you know, can be, you know, a little bit crushing, you know, because people love you as a drag queen, but then you're thinking, I mean, a friend of mine, we used to always say, in drag, we'd look at each other and be like, I'm never gonna get a boyfriend, I'm a woman on stage. But, you know, put your dress and high heels on, it's like, wow, all right. And you get the applause, you might not go home with anybody at the end of the night.
Peaches Christ is definitely like this drag persona that I created, who I like to think of as sort of a cult leader, because it represents a love of all cult movies, and it was sort of a portal for me to kind of perform and celebrate movies. You know, it's sort of, Peaches represents all of my obsessions, cults, cult movies, drag, glamour, comedy.
I felt the sea change in culture. You know, now it's like we used to do a field trip to Reno. We still do a field trip to Reno, where it's 2 buses of queens go to Reno and drag in the casinos. And when we first started doing it, there was a real hostility from the dealers, hostility from the other people in the casino, hostility from the security guards. You know what I mean? But over the years, gradually, as we keep doing it, we feel a definite change, and there's a change in society where it's kind of like, oh, it's drag queens, oh, it's gay people. It's much different now than even when I first started doing drag.
The phrase that goes around here is art tarted, is, you know, people are working out their drama on stage and doing crazy things like throwing pig's blood into a fan and aborting baby dolls on stage and doing really, really crazy things, but in the context of drag.
I would just like to say that if there are other drag queens out there, stop buying your shit at the corner store or in the mall. I mean, there's a way to do that, and then you can add to it. But if people wanted to see, you know, a real girl or the girl next door, they'd go next door. You're a drag queen. Now, I don't mean you have to be a rodeo clown, but get your shit together. Have some fun, heighten it, warp it, figure out what you are. Are you funny? You know, are you the serious one? You know, do you have a gorgeous face? You know, do you have a hair lip? You know, wear an eye patch? Whatever you do it well.
The way has been paved. It's easy now for these little boys to get up and say, oh, you know, I just want to dress up and have fun. But they don't know the back history of drag. And because they don't know the back history of drag, they don't even know how to take care of their hair. They don't even know how to wear the makeup. They don't even know how to wear the right costumes. They don't even know how to build an alter ego. They don't even know that they can even make a living from that. So it's like we need to visit the past. Like if you're going to do this, if you're really serious at your craft, you would visit the past. You would know the history. You're going to learn from your history to make yourself who you need to be today.
Go to the drugstore, buy some makeup, go to Kmart, buy a dress and some cheap heels, and just walk through the middle of fucking Chattanooga, Tennessee, and say, I am fabulous. And honey, and they'll do it. They'll go, yes, she is. Yes, she is.